Hey, how you doing? It's Khoa here. In this video I'm going to show you how you can build your own mobile apps so you can boost your business. So let's go. So I first started building mobile apps when my boss asked me to build a mobile app for his business. He's in the business of selling charcoal, and he also has lots of barbecues that he's been selling for several years. And he needed a shopping cart that will be integrated into an iPhone. So as a result, we need to build an application for this. So he asked me to pretty much just replicate the entire existing app, which was an app that was built by someone else. So after several months, we've nearly finished building it. So I've been the sole developer behind this. Essentially, it's a shopping cart and you can purchase products through it. You can also make orders through it. You can also see your own account records. Yeah, all the latest, products that you have to sell. It's gone very well. There was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of, times when I wanted to give up. It's really frustrating when you're building your own app because there's a lot of things that's interconnected. You have to understand how all the pages are all linked up. You have to understand object-oriented coding. You also need to understand MVC models. There's a whole bunch of stuff you need to understand. And I gotta say that building an app is probably one of the most hardest things that you can ever do in terms of technology, because we can all build, if you're starting off in IT, you want to learn how to do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all that type of stuff. That's like the basic type of stuff. But when you're building an app, this is going to require a lot of IT knowledge, a lot of skills in terms of development and agile, everything. And you're going to be utilizing a lot of project management experience as well. If you're working with a team, delivery people, you're dealing with managers, you're dealing with third-party people who's providing you information. You have to deal with a lot of things, so it's a lot of hard work. But if you're willing to go down this route, building your own mobile app, in this video I'm going to show you how you can actually do it and how I was able to do it as well. Okay, so the tools that I use in terms of building my own mobile app was Xamarin Forms. So Xamarin Forms is a software that you can use that's sitting on top of a software called Visual Studio 2017. So Visual Studio 2017 or 2019 is built by Microsoft. You can install it on Windows or you can install it on the Mac. And with Visual Studio, Microsoft Visual Studio 2019, you can actually build your own iOS apps, which is apps that is built for the iPhone. It can also build apps for the Android as well. So what happens is that, let's say that you want to push your app to the iPhone, you can do that through Visual Studio 2019. You can also do the same thing through Android as well. And the cool thing about Visual Studio is that you can actually, when you're building it, you can actually run a simulation. So when you're building your app, just click on the play button and therefore you can simulate your actual app so it looks like it's running on an iPhone or strictly from your computer as well. So the coding language that you need to learn to build your own mobile app is C#. So C# is the standard between the Android and also iPhone as well, so the iOS. And you can, and that's the reason why I chose Xamarin Forms, is that therefore you need a coding language that you need to push out to those two platforms. Because if you use just for example, if you use Swift programming language, which is a coding language designed specifically for the iPhone, let's say that you finish building it, then what happens if you need to push it over to the Android? So therefore you need to recode everything. So therefore I highly recommend for you to check out Xamarin Forms, because it uses C#, and C# is used for both Android and also the iOS as well. In terms of code version control, I use GitHub. So GitHub is really, if you're a developer like myself, you got to use GitHub. So because you're doing a lot of commits, so you're pushing a lot of code to the cloud and you're pulling code as well. It's a really great way to track your changes as well. And let's say that you're doing some feature development, such as I'm building a new feature such as a new shopping cart. I'll create a video later on how GitHub works, but GitHub is the way to go. You need, when you're doing development, always use GitHub, because you're going to run into problems later on. You're going to be your code might not compile and you need to revert back to the previous changes. And that's what happened during this project. During this project I was working and then all of a sudden I was trying to download this package, and it just stuffed up all my entire code. So I had to go back to the previous version, and I had to go back into GitHub, pull the previous version, and then everything was fine again. And lucky I set up GitHub, because GitHub is the best way in terms of managing your code. When I used to write code, I used to have version 1, version 2, but now with GitHub, all you have to do is just push it to a branch, and then push, pull, and then that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do, and the version control takes care of itself. In terms of communicating with third-party clientele, what I did was I used a lot of API requests. Now, what is an API? An API is a way in which you can communicate with an external provider. So APIs is a really effective way in which you can get information and store information, and you can create, read, update, and delete straight through APIs. That's what I highly recommend. If you don't know how to code, learn about APIs, because APIs is very important. It's just going to save you a lot of time. So for example, inside my code, when you're calling an API, you can see results that's returned through that API. So I can see, let's say I say that give me a list of all the customers. Through that API, it's going to give me a list of all the customers, and therefore I can manipulate and I can push the stuff into my app. So APIs is highly recommended. And obviously I also used Photoshop. So I use Photoshop to create the designs. I use Photoshop to create the banners, to make things look really sexy as well. And then I also uploaded those images, and that's optimized onto the website and all communicated. So the website is hooked up to Woocommerce, and Woocommerce is basically a shopping cart facility that enables the client to sell products through it. So that's what you can do is, let's say that you have a website and you need to use some sort of shopping cart. You can easily do that. So you can install WooCommerce, and you can set up all your products and services through there. But that's what you need to do if you want to build your own mobile app, is make a start on just download Microsoft Visual Studio 2019, set up the iOS simulator, set up an Android simulator. So these two simulators enable you to see your app running. And then also just start testing, just try and get something on the screen. So that's what I did, just try and push something on the screen. And then afterwards, just use that, you learn on how to push something onto a screen. Then you learn how to get stuff from a database and push that onto a screen. You learn how to update stuff from a database, and just slowly just get better and better. And then you have to understand the MVC framework. So MVC Framework, it's a way in which you can communicate with all pages. It's just a framework in which developers use to communicate with each other, and I won't get too much into detail. I might create another video on that one there, but that's pretty much the MVC framework there. If you do want to build an app for your business, I highly recommend for you to take your time. It's not easy. It's really hard. I have to admit that it's really hard building your own app. But once you get over the learning curve, it's a lot of technical knowledge. If you want to go down that route about learning how to do it yourself, by all means do it. If you've got a lot of time to learn it yourself, fantastic. You're going to build a lot of a valuable skill that you can use to sell to other clients. So other clients will, they'll gladly pay you 30 grand, 50 grand to build your own app for them. And if you have that skill, fantastic. That's a money-making skill right there. But if you want to hire someone else to do it, fantastic, you can do that as well. But it does cost you to pay for them, so they could be charging you 50, 100 grand to be building you an app. So if you've got a few months up your sleeve and you want to learn how to build your own app, yeah, highly recommend for you to start with Microsoft Visual Studio 2019. Install on the Mac first, or install on the Windows, and just get started, right? So set up your basic Hello World page, and just learn how to display something on the page. Compile the code, and then eventually, once you've done that, move on to the bit more advanced stuff, which is using an API. I want to pull information through this website using an API. I want to display something through it, and also I want to be able to update something through the API. So API is very important. Learn how to use APIs, because that's going to really help you, not with just your mobile app, but with your website as well. You're obviously using GitHub to manage your source codes as well. And also, once you've done that, that's pretty much it really. Just get the hang of it. And yeah, lots of help on Stack Overflow. So check out stackoverflow.com. These guys are really smart in terms of development. If you ever get stuck, just post a question on Stack Overflow and they'll help you out with that one there. So anyway, I hope that helps. As a basic introduction to building your own mobile apps. What I'll do is in another video I'll show a different tutorial on the detailed steps of what you can do as well. So hope you like this video, and let me know how you guys go. Thanks.